What is up, everybody? It is Og here, back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 hidden gold farms / investment opportunities with Phase 4 and ZG coming out here soon. So I think that there's going to be a big change in the gold farming landscape once this patch comes out and ZG, the new raid, comes out. And so I wanted to bring you some ideas that I've had when thinking about the impact that the patch might have on the gold farming community. I think there's going to be a lot of new items that are going to be getting farmed not as much as they might have been before, potentially increasing their price. And I also think that there's some really good farms that you could do right now to really get ahead of the curve and make a lot of money once the patch drops. So I want to bring that to you in this video. If you are enjoying this content, definitely subscribe down below and join the Twitch linked down below and the Discord as well. And with the Discord, we have an amazing community of Og Squad members who talk constantly, so ask any question you like and we'll definitely get you an answer. So let's jump into the top 10 hidden investment opportunities in gold farms with a ZG coming out. Coming in at number 10, we have light feather farming. Now, light feather farming is something that I recently did a video on just a couple days ago, so definitely check out that. I'll link it up above if you're interested. But there's a couple spots to farm light feathers, and in the first video, I showed a place in the Barrens. Now I'm showing another place over in Thousand Needles that a lot of people wanted to see in the description. Why are light feathers worth farming? So typically light feathers weren't really worth much, but recently they've increased in price due to the inclusion of AB and the upcoming ZG. So light feathers are obviously used for any kind of slow fall mechanics, that's slow fall from mages and levitate from priest. This is heavily used in Arathi Basin to go from lumber mill down to blacksmith or blacksmith down to mines or any of the above. And it is also going to be used heavily in ZG. So I think that there's probably going to be a spike once ZG comes out, just because mages are going to be running low on light feathers, realize how good the farm is, and not want to stop. And so anytime that there's an AB weekend or when ZG comes out, I would expect that light feathers would be decent to farm. Currently, they're looking at around 20 silver a pop on my server, but I've heard of them going up to a gold a pop on some other servers. At number 9, we have a very interesting farm, and that's the Essence of Air and Essence of Earth out in Silithus. And so this is where we really start to bring in potential macroeconomic aspects of the upcoming patch. And so a ZG with the new farm that's out there for the mages, a lot of mages that were farming the essences are going to stop farming the essences. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other classes that farm them as well, but at the same time, there's also going to be more people wanting to level mages to start doing the new farms and to do power leveling and things like that. So Robe of the Archmage and its associated mats are going to at least stay at their normal level in price, if not increase slightly, because there's going to be less essences going around. So with that in mind, I expect the Essence of Air and Essence of Earth to potentially increase slightly in price for the Robe of the Archmage. I wouldn't necessarily invest in this, but as a gold farm right now, it's a decent gold farm. During a 10-minute session here, I got 1 Essence of Air, and you know, you could definitely get a lot more. And I was also as Fire, and so as Frost, you're gonna be able to kill a lot more at once. So it is honestly a decent gold farm, and it's a gold farm that can be done by multiple classes. So this comes in at number 9. At number 8, we have Elemental Fire. Elemental Fire is one of the main ingredients in greater fire protection potions, and so most people might think that they really aren't worth that much anymore, and they're not worth farming because now people have BWL and farm and things like that. But people have BWL and farm, people still going for speed clears and everything like that, are still going to be using greater fire protection potions to try to push the limit. And there's going to be new guilds coming out, and there's going to be alt raids and things like that. And so they're still going to be in demand. Even at the low point of MC, where everything was just easy farm content, we still see that elemental fires were around, you know, 3 gold a pop. And maybe some of that was to get ready for BWL and things like that. But I expect that they're still going to be decently valuable. The main ways to get elemental fire is going to be through MC farming, through Arathi Highlands farming for them, but that's really just 1 person per server can do that. And then there's also BRD farming, as I'm showing right now. But as mages stop doing the BRD farm to focus on ZG farms or things like that, and as people stop power leveling in BRD and stop getting them through there, there's going to be less of a supply out there, and it's pretty much just going to come from MC and that 1 person farming elemental fire on your server. And so with the less supply going out there, there's a potential that the price is going to increase. This is pretty speculative, but I think that there is definitely a possibility as people swap over and start doing different farms that this farm actually could become decently lucrative. And I only got 1 elemental fire through this run right here, but typically I get at least 2 elemental fires just by killing these amount of fire guards and things like that. So that could be about 10 gold a run, and if you could do 5 gold or 5 runs an hour, that's an easy 50 gold in your pocket, not including other drops, you know, such as Heart of Fire, or the fact that these guys have one of the top tier loot tables because they are 50+ elites. Dark Iron Residue still sells decently, stuff like that. Like there's other items you're going to be getting through these farms, and so it could be a decent farm, and that is why I have it coming in at number 8. At number 7, we have Dreamfoil. Now this is going to be the first of 3 items that I think are going to have a major impact from the DM East gold farms, and I'm going to go through each of them, starting with Dreamfoil. So many of you are familiar with the DM East gold farm. It was a very popular farm for the entirety of Classic so far because of its potential amount of herbs that you can get and the potential amount of just raw venerables and raw gold that you can get from the Lashers, at the same time offering crazy epics such as Edgemasters, Freezing Band, and everything like that. So this has been one of the most popular gold farms, and it's still going to be an amazing gold farm, especially when ZG comes out. But there's going to be one big impact with ZG coming out, and that is that less people are going to be doing this farm. With the amount of mages that are going to be swapping over to ZG to try to get the bijous and everything like that, there are going to be less mages doing this farm, particularly killing the Lashers. Now, the only 2 classes that are really efficient with killing the Lashers at this point are going to be holy priests that are well geared, or mages, which means that if the entire, not the entire mage population, but if the majority of the mage population goes over to ZG to try to farm that to get some of that burst gold right off the start, there's going to be a lot less Dreamfoil on the market. Obviously, there's still going to be people going out and just herbing Dreamfoil by themselves, or maybe there's going to be people trying to sneak around packs, but a lot of the Dreamfoil is going to be coming out of farms like this. I know people who do this for multiple hours a day, and just between looting the mobs and then also just getting the herbs off the ground, they're getting a ton of Dreamfoil. So Dreamfoil goes right now for about 1 gold-ish, 1 gold 50 silver per Dreamfoil on my server, and I expect that this is going to have a big impact as the supply of it is going to drastically decrease if the amount of mages that I expect to go over to ZG actually start going over to ZG. At number 6, we have another item out of DM East, and that is going to be Living Essence. So Living Essence has been a popular item in the past due to its use in various crafting recipes, armor recipes, and also for healing enchants. So healing to weapon. But when we come out with this new patch, we're actually going to be getting ready for AQ, and Living Essences are one of the primary ingredients in the enchant to cloak for greater nature resistance. And so as AQ comes out, that's going to be in a high demand. So similar to the Dreamfoil, there should be a less of a supply as people will be transitioning over to ZG farming as mages, and so there will be less Living Essence on the auction house, while at the same time people will be getting ready for AQ with the enchant that they're going to need, and also just getting new gear from ZG and the new gear from AQ and need those enchants as well, or maybe they're leveling alts. And so expect the normal demand of Living Essence to stay there, while also an increased demand for the new AQ cloak, and the less supply should shift the overall trends to be a higher price moving forward. Now, our last item that we're going to feature at number 5 is going to be Felcloth. Felcloth is one of the primary ingredients in Mooncloth and is needed for the transmute on a daily basis to turn Felcloth into Mooncloth. And so this is already in high demand as people are trying to get ready for, Mooncloth spiking in price for Bloodvine sets. However, there's going to be a less of a supply as, again, mages are outside of DM East. Additionally, as soon as the patch drops, a lot of Bloodvine sets are going to be made. If you think about it, there's 10 pieces of Mooncloth necessary for each Bloodvine set, and so the first person to get to that Bloodvine set and make it for the server is definitely going to be very wealthy, but there's going to be more Mooncloth necessary, and so the only way to get more Mooncloth is to get more Felcloth, and there may not be many people farming for the Felcloth as there used to be because of the DM East farm. Now, there's still definitely the farm over in Felwood to get a good amount of Felcloth as well, so it's going to be determined based on the price. But if you expect Mooncloth's price to go up, and that's a very common item that a lot of people are expecting the price to go up, then you would definitely expect the Felcloth to go up right in line with the Mooncloth as well. So that comes in at number 5. At number 4, we have Firebloom. So Firebloom is something that you could definitely get out of the DM East as well if you're lucky off the mobs. It just has the random chance of giving various herbs, and so maybe that's the one that you get. But the main farm is going to be out in the open world, just grinding to try to get as much Firebloom as you can. So here we were able to get 5 really quickly, but then we were unable to find any other herbs. Now, why is Firebloom going to be useful? Well, it's used in Brilliant Wizard Oil, which is going to be one of the main raid requirements once it comes out, and it's going to be in high demand. It's just going to be like every single other consumable that you bring to raids, especially for big servers, big populated servers, because there's going to be so many guilds trying to do the raids, but only a limited amount of supply for the Firebloom. So expect the price of Firebloom to really increase as we continue to push out more content with ZG, AQ, and then Nax. Once we have the Brilliant Wizard Oil out there, it is going to be in high demand And as such, Firebloom will definitely go up in price. I think back in the day, Firebloom was only about like 7 silver a pop, and now you can see that it's already up to about 35, 36 silver on my server alone. At number 3, we start getting into the ZG specific farm for sure, and that is the powerful Mojo. Powerful Mojo is going to be used in the Bloodvine sets, and so I've mentioned it a couple times, but if you're not familiar with it, Bloodvine has a ton of plus hit, up to 4% hit, which is huge for casters when they're in raid to try to get to that 16% hit cap. So Bloodvine is going to be an essential set that's going to be made a ton. Now, based on your server pop, you can kind of figure out how many mages you might have. If you'd say that like 15% of the population or maybe 20% of the population is probably mages, and then you can also look at warlocks because it can be very, very in demand for warlocks as well. So you can kind of figure out how many sets need to be made. But Powerful Mojo is going to be one of the main ingredients in that set, and so it's going to be very, very high in demand. Now, before ZG comes out to farm Powerful Mojo, a great way to do that is over in the Eastern Plaguelands. So in the top right corner, the northeast corner of the Eastern Plaguelands, there's this Moss Flare farm. So what you can do, and you can already see that I've already gotten 2 Powerful Mojos worth 3 gold and 50 silver each, is you could just come up here and just farm these mobs. Now, you're going to be able to do this much easier with pretty much any other spec other than fire. Warriors can tear through this place, rogues can tear through this place, a Frost Mage could tear through this place. But with my current spec, it's not going as fast, but you can still see that in 5 minutes alone, I already got 8 gold and 50 silver, and you're about to see that I'm about to get a lot more. Now notice these graves in the middle. Now, when you run over these graves, they actually activate a ton more mobs. So if you're not a mage and you're not a frost mage, be careful with that because, you could, well, activate a ton of mobs and then die. But at the same point, if you are a frost mage, you can farm these mobs. They do not, unfortunately, give Powerful Mojo. However, they do give a lot of rune cloth, just a lot of raw gold and various items that you can sell and things like that. And so it's just another mage farm where you can kill like 35 to 40 mobs at once. And it's actually pretty good, So that's really a good option for frost mages to go through and kill them. You can also get herbs out here, such as Plague Bloom. So I just got 3 Plague Bloom that sell for 4 gold and 11 silver right off the bat. But here I go run over all the graves and just get obliterated because I'm not a frost mage. But this farm for Powerful Mojo is going to be very lucrative. You could see here that just from the Plague Bloom and the Powerful Mojo that I did get, I got over 20 gold in 8 minutes. So if you translate that into an hour's worth of farming, you're going to be looking about 150 gold out in the open. On a PvP server, this is probably going to be contested if it's not already, and so definitely want to get on this as quickly as possible, but definitely stay along the perimeter if you're just farming the Powerful Mojo, as the mobs in the middle will not be able to give you Powerful Mojo, but all the mobs on the perimeter have a very good chance of dropping it. At number 2, we have Large Brilliant Shards. If you guys are not stocking up on Large Brilliant Shards, definitely start now. Main reason being that when Nexus Crystals come out with AQ, Large Brilliant Shards are going to be much more difficult to obtain on the auction house. Now, the main reason for that is that as far as I know, the loot out of MC, BWL, etc. is going to disenchant into Nexus Crystals. There's a lot of speculation about this and a lot of debate right now whether or not they will, and if Blizzard will change it. But in Classic WoW, and what I found so far is that they're trying to keep the integrity of Classic WoW. What happened was that as soon as AQ came out, all the previous epics from MC and everything like that disenchanted into Nexus Crystals. I have heard rumors that any items obtained before AQ come out will not disenchant into Nexus Crystals, but that being said, a ton of guilds are currently stocking up on a lot of epics to be able to disenchant to try to get as many Nexus Crystals as they can. So why does that play such a huge role on Large Brilliant Shards? Well, currently, if you DE an item out of MC or another epic out of somewhere else, you get Large Brilliant Shards, which keeps the population of them pretty low. But not a lot of people are really farming dungeons anymore. Nobody's really going into Stratholme or Scalo much outside of, here and there, but it's not like people are just sitting in there constantly day after day like it was when Classic first came out, getting all these blues and being able to disenchant them. And so with the decrease in the amount of supply of Large Brilliant Shards that will come later, along with the necessity for Large Brilliant Shards for various enchants and items and things to be crafted and things like that, the price of Large Brilliant Shards should skyrocket. Now, this could lead to some crazy gold farms that I'm currently looking into myself, but once this all kind of transpires, we'll see exactly how it works if Blizzard does any changes. But at the current state of information that we have, Large Brilliant Shards are an amazing investment opportunity to get ready for when they are no longer available from epics to be deed. Now coming in at number 1 overall, let's get a drum roll please, is Elemental Earth. So I have been farming Princess, a little bit in my stream over the past while. All right, I've been farming it a ton, literally for like a week straight. And so what a lot of people do is they farm Elemental Earth while they go kill Princess. Princess is in high demand right now because of the potential for the Blade of Eternal Darkness, which is an epic dagger that gives you basically unlimited mana if you are a mage. And so I'm going to be making a video going over Princess itself, but just focusing on the Elemental Earth. A lot of people will come in here and farm Elemental Earths at the same time. Elemental Earths are currently going for about 3 gold, 40 silver on my server. However, expect them to drive up in price as they're going to be used for greater nature protection potions, which are going to be in high demand as soon as AQ comes out, especially because AQ is expected to be actually a pretty difficult raid, and so it's going to be used by pretty much every single guild. So if you're on a high pop server, there's going to be a ton of demand for greater nature protection potions, and especially a high demand for Elemental Earth to be able to make them. And so the main ways to farm Elemental Earth are going to be going out in the real world, or not real world, but the open world and killing elemental mobs and things like that. But one of the biggest farms right now for ways to get them is actually through Mara boosting and through Mara Princess runs. And so once ZG comes out, mages are going to no longer be doing the Mara Princess runs as much. They're hoping to have the dagger by then so that they can do the ZG farm easier and things like that. So there's going to be a lot less Elemental Earths dropping for mages, which means that the supply of them is going to go down. At the same time, we're probably going to have a month or two after ZG until AQ comes out, which means that as we're waiting for AQ to come out, there's going to be a lot less Elemental Earths. Now, granted, a ton of people are going to start farming them as they're going to be one of the best gold farms out there. And so if you want to get ahead on that, definitely start now. But they're going to be one of the best gold farms just because of the amount of gold that they're going to be worth. How much are they going to be worth? Well, if we think about it and we kind of compare it to Elemental Fires and their use in BWL, Elemental Fires, when they came out, were... or not when they came out, but before BWL, were probably about 3 to 4 gold a piece. And that's kind of what they've come back to now. But Elemental Fires, once BWL dropped and everybody was buying the greater fire protection potions, spiked up to like 7 or 10 gold even. And so even if we take a kind of more relaxed approach to the Elemental Earths and we put Elemental Earths at about, let's say 6 gold a pop instead of this 3 gold, 50 silver a pop, first off, that's about 100% return on your investment. But second off, that means that at 6 gold, you could be making a ton of money with this farm alone, but also with just investing in them. From this farm, personally, I just got, I believe, 3 Elemental Earths just in this one farm alone, and I didn't kill all the packs. Frost mages can kill a ton of Elemental Earth packs at once and get, several Elemental Earths a run. And when I'm going through Mara and doing the big pools that I do, I definitely get a ton of Elemental Earths. So highly recommend stocking up on Elemental Earths, and that is why it comes in at the #1 current potential gold farm or investment opportunity that is not being thought of as much when ZG comes out. All right, everyone, that wraps up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment below to let me know so. And if you guys have any other ideas for any other videos, please let me know in the comments below. Also, check out the description for the Twitch where I do all this live, and also for my Twitter and Discord where you guys can be notified of any future updates and when I'm going to go live on stream. So I'll see you guys in the next video.